Hello, hello. Here's Augie again coming to you from Broadcast Team Alpha with the Paranormal World Show. And we're on 44 different platforms around the world, so we are reaching just about everybody if they would like to listen. And since you are on YouTube already, if you like what you hear, if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe. We really appreciate it. And click the bell next to it so you'll know when the next video coming out. And also, while on YouTube, go to the video section and scroll down into the video section because Nori and I have placed a lot of good stuff there about short videos. Maybe some of them are 10 minutes or 20 of things that can make your life better and also interesting stuff that you will love to hear about. So just go for it. And also, we are transmitting on the Conscious Awakening Network. And you really should go visit those people because they have about 50 different shows, pretty close to that, on their platform about stuff that also will make your life better. And including the health, really, and the universe, the consciousness, things that you like to know about. So go have a look at it. That is Conscious Awakening Network.org. And we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions. Yeah, it's not quite New Year's anymore, is it? But it's never too late to make it work now. You could make it a today and onward resolution. Just put your own name on it. It'll work good. Because there are some principles. There are principles for success. There's principles for failure. For the principles of failure, there is basically only two things that is very much upfront, and that is that don't look for things that make things work. And also, do nothing. With those two principles in place, I'll guarantee you, you're going to fail. In fact, you could be successful at failing. But there's also a different set of principles that leads to success all over. And that is when you invite the mind in on the game. There is effort involved in success. That don't necessarily mean effort with your hands and your fingers and your body and driving around doing things. No, it is effort of the brain and the heart. The brain is like a computer. Whatever you feed it, it holds and it will retrieve for you. The heart reaches into the quantum arena and help you create wonderful things if you decide what you want. Yeah, I know. Uh, this is the paranormal show. But what I'm going to talk about will reach deep into the paranormal arena to get those principles and bring them out and show you how it will work in your life to make your New Year's resolution work. Because chances are that you had a really good idea on December 31, and by now you're not doing it anymore. So, yeah, why? Maybe because you don't know how to make it work. See, thinking of something that you want to do that is different than what you have done before goes against the community standards of your computer app here. So it'll disregard it. You got to implement it into the neural network so it becomes prevalent and it becomes part of your thinking and your mind and your action. And do not expect to be the only one creating in your reality. You have other people in your reality. You got yourself, you got your dog, you got your family, you got friends, even your brother-in-law. import them into what you're doing, you'd be surprised how they can help sometimes. And then invite something that is a little different, but extremely powerful. And that is the universal consciousness. I'm pointing out there, which is not totally right. It's actually in here. We are part of that universal consciousness, the universal mind, the all, or God, if you like. We are part of that. So import it or invite it into what you're doing, and it will get in the game with you, help you create it. If you have studied a little bit of quantum mechanics, this just might make a little more sense, but you can research it after you listen to this video 10 times so you know what it's going to tell you. There's a principle in quantum mechanics called the theory of inflation. The theory of inflation says basically, I don't know, if you Google it, you're going to find pages and pages of information. I'm going to condense it so simple-minded people like me can understand it. And that theory of inflation says that if you thought of something, it is not only placed into your memory and your mind, it is also placed into the quantum existence. If you visualized something, it's placed into the quantum existence. If you did something, observed something, did something, how you did and how you observed and all that is involved in those things were also placed into the quantum existence and sitting there as potential for physical creation later when you come and retrieve it, bring it back here into your existence here in the physical. So this may be a little abstract if you're basically a nuts and bolt person, but there are nuts and bolts to quantum mechanics and neuroscience also. If you take those principles of quantum mechanics and neuroscience and marry them, use them both in your method of creation in your existence. It doesn't have to be just as a New Year's resolution or February 1 resolution, if you like. No, it can be used every day of your life. And it will work if you work it. First of all, know what you want. If you don't know what you want, how in the world can you expect things to happen? You still will have things happening, but that might have been created by someone else that wanted you to have something happening. And that might have been created for their purpose and their benefit, not necessarily for yours. So why not create something of your own that you want and go after it? That you will find very much to your advantage. So how do you find what you really want? Well, you need to invite the noggin in on the game with you. And you can do that by joining your brain and your mind with other people. Brainstorm with your family. If you have close friends that you think may want the same thing you do, brainstorm with them. It should be people that you trust. You can tell anybody and it won't go anywhere else. There are people with good friends like that. I have a couple. I said a couple. They're not that many. So then what you want to do is once you know and you decided on something that you're going to do and you're going to have or you're going to be or whatever it is, write it down. Something happens when you write it down. You write it down, you see yourself writing it. It's on written paper and it goes into your brain and it's lodged along the neural network as little globules of memory. And then read it loud. What happens then is that you're looking at it and you are reading it, so it again is lodged into the brain in form of memory in a different place than the one that you got when you wrote it. So now it's in the brain two places. And then sit down and create a visual image of what you have decided that you want to be or do or have or whatever. Create a visual image of it in your mind. Now, that visual image goes into the brain and is lodged along the neural network, and they start reaching into places which benefit the implementation of what you have created in your mind. Writing it, speaking it, visualizing it, those three things goes into the universal mind, into the quantum existence, and because of the theory of inflation, it is placed there as potential for physical creation later. Think about that. It's there. It's yours. All you have to do is to go back and forth. Start bringing it back into the physical with you, because it is yours. You decide what to do with it. And then create a vision board. Whatever you like to be, have, or whatever, put it on the vision board. Use colorful images that has a tendency to maybe create an emotional state of mind when you look at it. Because emotion is the carrier of thought. And emotion is a very powerful instrument in the universal mind or the quantum existence. Without emotion, it's waffling. You got to have the feeling and the emotion wrapping around what you want. That is power. And then when you have put all those pictures or whatever it is that you want to be or have or do, whatever, on the vision board, take 10 minutes every day, stand in front of that vision board, look at it. See yourself with it. See yourself having it, doing it, being it. And feel the emotion of having it, being it, doing it. Feel the gratitude for already having it now. Why now? Because the universal mind of the quantum existence only work in present moments. Past doesn't exist, future doesn't exist yet, unless you have created it. Then it is placed there as a record of present moments in the past, which you can go back and remember, or it is placed in the future as images of present moments to be. And then think of it in the present moment and be thankful for already having it. That image is placed into the future, so you are thankful for having it when you are able to bring it back. And once you see it, you feel it, reach out and touch the pictures on the vision board. The things you wrote on there, I will this or that, whatever, pull your fingers across it. Feel the contact. I know this may be a little uncomfortable because it involves some effort. You see, successful action and successful habits and success in general always involves effort. But that doesn't mean effort with your fingers all the time. Effort here by feeling it. What we are doing is to try to reprogram the subconscious mind for success at what we want to do. There's two ways to reprogram the subconscious mind. One of them is repetition. The other one is hypnosis. In some ways, hypnosis could be almost kind of a shortcut. It can get you there a lot quicker. With a good hypnotist, they bring your brainwave pattern into down below alpha into the theta stage, where they are removing the conscious mind and they talk directly to the subconscious mind and give it commands. I will do and whatever. Now the repetition will do the same thing over a little bit longer time, because you got to repeat something over and over again so that it becomes overwhelming to the previous negative images that you have in your subconscious mind. The positive images and the positive thought and action and words will overlay the old ones so they become irrelevant. They lose their neural network to the different parts of the brain that'll help you create the chemicals that will start doing things for you. When you have positive input like that, it creates new neural network that reaches into the pituitary and different places in the brain that will create the chemicals that will help you start doing what it takes to become successful at what you want to do. Now, speaking of reprogramming the subconscious mind, if you go to Broadcast Team Alpha on YouTube and become a member, up at the upper right-hand side of the page, there is a little button up there that says Join. If you become a member of the YouTube channel, which you probably have done since you're watching this video, then you can go and watch all of the other videos that also tell you how to reprogram the subconscious mind for good memory, good health, and all kinds of other things. Go and look around in that member section and you will find things that can really help you. Then commit yourself. Tell somebody what you are doing. Now, that could be uncomfortable in a way that is burning your bridge. I did that back in Europe before I came to the United States to become a pilot. I had nothing to go back to. I had to succeed, and I did. So commit yourself. Talk to people. Tell them what you're doing, because you know what's going to happen. 2-3 months down the road, that person is going to come to you and say, hey, how are you doing on that thing? You got it yet? And if you quit, you're going to have to tell them, yeah, I quit. I'm going to keep doing what I do. I'm going to go with the flow. Just going to do the things that comes up every day. Nobody wants to tell other people they are a quitter. So keep at it. Stand in front of that vision board. Talk to yourself. Talk to the board. So when that friend of yours come 3 months later and say, how are you doing with that thing? You can tell him, I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that. If he comes back on the December 1, right before, your deadline, so to speak, you can tell him, I'm still working on that. So this is something that once you start, never quit, because quitters never win and winners never quit. And then also talk to yourself. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I have no idea how many times I have been caught talking to myself because I thought I was alone, but I wasn't. And the only answer to, if they ask you, who are you talking to? Tell them, I'm talking to myself because ever so often I need expert advice. Okay, that was not a joke. Because if I ask myself a question, how would I do something like this or that? Then my conscious mind may have the answer, but if it doesn't, it'll hand it off to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind may have the answer, but if it doesn't, it will hand it off to the universal mind, which does have the answer because that is where all is. So remember, there is always some effort involved. Your effort could be to ask the universal mind for the answer. And if the universal mind answer you, it may not do it right away. You could get it 3 days from then in the shower. There's something about that shower that grounds you to the earth and you get insights. And when that happens, it comes back from the universal mind up through the subconscious mind, up to conscious understanding, and you got the answer. I know this is a little technical, but if you do it this way and never quit, whatever you put on that vision board is yours. So stay in touch. Let me know how you're doing. If you're a member of the the mastermind too, but if you're a member of YouTube, you'll have access to me. Just contact me and we'll talk. If there's anything that you think I can help with, I'll help you. That's all I do. So until then, be good to each other.